Hello, and welcome back to my programs dev stream of RP-1, where I guess I should check and make sure that I don't have oh. I guess I'm going to reload this, because yeah, it looks like I forgot to discard changes. Save.
Okay.
There we are. I think it's broadly equivalent, but just in case. Okay, so yeah, here's the new by program budget, and it'll list your active programs, nominal deadlines, their funding for the period.
That's cool.
Also, what I added as a holdover until somebody writes, why is it so dark? Let's make it not so dark. Okay. Oh, right, because I reloaded the save. So I don't know why that happens, but the KSC gets submerged when you load the save.
Well, you said you didn't like the KSC anyway, so.
Yes, I mean, I guess that's fair. I also did this, where it will now show you your funding for each year. So if we want to put a fairly simple curve in, we can.
Cool. Yeah, we definitely need them eventually. Like the X-Planes would do better if it had a curve. Yeah, there's a lot of programs that need a curve.
Yep. X-Planes
Lunar
really.
landing.
X-Planes needs a curve for sure, and Crude Orbit needs a curve for sure.
Crude Orbit, yeah.
Oh, one more bit of tweakery. Okay, just justifying the year.
Mm.
So if yep, that should be correct. Oops, wrong Git repository.
So what do you think about what to do about splitting up the early satellites heavy so people aren't doing all 3 launches all at once?
I mean, I think we need a reasonable replacement for the second of those contracts. By splitting up, you mean require that each contract requires its predecessor?
That's certainly one way to do it.
Or,
we could also do it with separated orbits.
Or orbits, yeah, I mean, yes. Like, it feels a little weird to do that just because you obviously could do the first and the third together.
Well, we've traditionally allowed people to do first
Yes.
satellite and first science satellite
yeah,
together.
like that seems fine. And certainly that was the Soviet plan. I mean, I think what this really is exposing is that we need more contracts than that for that program. And Sputnik 2 is really feels sort of shoehorned in.
I guess, but I mean, like you pointed out and Pat pointed out, they didn't do anything else, or they went lunar.
Right.
mean, like, I personally wouldn't mind if we required all of those to be separate launches.
Yep.
Really wouldn't actually mind if we required the American programs to separate out first and scientific in some fashion. I think doubling up on too many launches at once is a good way to just.
I mean, in fairness, the Americans did do them together. In point of fact, had Vanguard 1 not failed, it would have been first satellite, first scientific satellite, and first solar-powered satellite.
I guess so. I mean, maybe we should do something fancy so.
Like, I feel like if it's not, like, ultimately, if you're like, if you've spent enough money to make a launch vehicle that is capable of doing more than one of those missions at once, that seems like a fair trade.
I think
Like,
it's a fair trade
I'm not so bothered.
If the rep bonus for them is not tripled up.
I mean, I'm like, why is that? Like, you're paying for it either way. Because either you're paying for it by it's taking longer and thus you're paying more salary, or you're paying for it in the launch vehicle that you created and therefore the LC you built to build it in was bigger.
I think for instance, it's very marginal doing the first and third Soviet contract, or the first Soviet contract plus anything else is extremely marginal additional requirements. I mean, it's overall just how marginal some of that stuff is. Like, and it's also just kind of like a no-brainer to like, if you can do first science, just do that one because it completes first satellite regardless, right? So it's like you shouldn't really get the double benefit of not splitting up the launches. The double benefit of the rep, at least. I mean, you can still progress through the program potentially faster by not having to do the extra launch, but the newspapers aren't going to talk about your launch twice because you did multiple objectives at once.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said for the rep there, but like, so now I'm actually wondering if, if we could do something like your requirement for first scientific satellite or the equivalent is to like actually return a large chunk of that science rather than just be in orbit a day. Point of fact, like, let's see what if I put
part of me is just feeling like you might have ground out like 20 X-plane flights or like 10 sounding rockets, and then you get through this one program, the Soviet program, with one launch. Feels off.
Yeah. I mean, probably you've, like, if you didn't fly test flights first, then you must have rolled fairly well.
That's true. I mean, that we also have the downrange ones already to do your test flights with.
Okay, so this just has a radiation detector. And did I kill the antenna on this or no? Oh, no, I didn't. Huh. That was bad. Sent that to the moon with 2 antennas. That's dumb.
Removing the antenna from the avionics is such a rote action for me, a rote optimization, that I almost prefer I could just set a setting to just never include it.
I mean, that's easy with manager. So what I want to do is check that duration. And assume that we're transmitting it maybe like 10% of the time. I don't know what's reasonable for that. And let's see what it would take to last 90 days. Oops. That seems weird. Yeah, it allowed a negative. That's a bug.
Yep. So what the heck did the Soviets do to put a ton of experiments on Sputnik 3?
Their experiments were very heavy. I don't know, like I don't know that much about Object D.
Yeah.
Nope. It's busted.
It's going to be another dev stream.
A little bit.
I don't mind. Just asking.
Yeah, that's just RF being busted. Okay. That's weird. So we don't need 4 years. Yeah, actually, what is the DSN? 32 bps, so 4 bytes, and this experiment uses 0.3. As it happens, I was about right with 10%. Actually, more like 7.5%.
Oh.
Hmm?
No, I was just agreeing with you. That's right.
So it turns out you don't actually really need that much electricity. Run 90 days. Yeah. That seems... $60 an hour, is that really all it's using?
Very few of our experiments actually are a energy drain.
Yeah, like the cameras are, but not much else. They only run for 20 minutes.
Right. Very few of them are also a significant transmission cost.
Yeah, but if you look up Sputnik 3, they basically bolted on any piece of science they could think of. And Soviet electronics, not super great. Also, it's worth remembering that just how unimaginably tiny and primitive the experiments on Explorer 1 actually were.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of interesting to me, the idea that we could, some far future date after we've finished programs in LC, review how experiments work to make experiments kind of more of a sliding scale than a fixed set of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be very good. Okay, so basically what I wanted to find out is how much electricity do you actually have to put into an object to make it last for 90 days? And the answer is not that much. Really not that much. It'd be worse if I had the previous avionics node, but like if I were avionics prototypes, which is, yeah, that would be 25 watts, which would make a huge impact in terms of how much EC you'd need. But even so, like this is only 100 kilograms. Basically, because what I was wondering is, what if what we did for the satellites heavy thing is you have to actually entirely complete that experiment. So you have to send home all 90 days worth of that science.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but yeah, there's not enough. It's not enough of a requirement, I guess. Certainly not to create the 1,000 kilogram payload. Are you talking about Sputnik 1 or 2 or 3? 1, right?
3.
Oh, 3.
Talking about 3. I mean, 1 was a radio transmitter in a metal sphere.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm talking about 3. It's like if we do a thing like you have to complete all of the early Earth science, basically. So you have to have enough electricity to run the magnetometer and micrometeorite detector and all that stuff. And you can do it in multiple launches, and then it's not such an EC burden. Or you could do it in one big launch. And then you also just have to carry a bunch of sounding payload or something as well to ensure a mass requirement.
Once you're carrying 1,000 kilograms of payload already, though, the extra marginal of the experiments and what you have to do to run them isn't that big of a deal. More of actually a cost, because that your batteries are reasonably expensive. Although again, not compared to an R7, so whatever.
Right. I mean, so yes, probably something about like this. And that's less than 200 kilograms. So that's not that much. No, Mr. Brown, I'm just trying to ballpark. Like, I'm not actually flying that launch. We're talking about what to do for the early satellites heavy contracts. Yeah, I mean, I think that is a not unreasonable requirement. Partly because of just the fact that it's going to have to hang out in orbit for 90 days. Like, you can't complete it after one day.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, anyway, let me go ahead and we're building an Atlas-like thing.
But I think to me, the more of the concern is what to do with 1 and 2, not priority as the highest requirement one.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you have an R7, like requiring polar orbit is not going to be a stretch of your capabilities.
Yeah.
It depends what the tonnage is, but
I mean, when it comes down to it, I just think that you should not be able to get out of early satellites without at least 2 launches. Just, however that happens, that should happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, one way to do that is to just actually require the downrange stuff rather than trying to make up orbital stuff.
But I mean, we could also sequence the orbital ones.
Yeah.
And assume we solve it better some way down the road.
Yeah. Okay. There's 5 feet. Now let's actually probably we need 8 feet. Well, I don't know. Let's size this. We'll see what we actually need. Just gonna load an existing tank so I don't have butts with it. I think that's probably still going to be too big. Let's find out.
You had an Atlas already built. From your previous games, do you not have this rocket?
No, I've never built this before. I've actually never built this before in my entire RP-1 life, or RP-0 life. I think so. I guess I built a so this is not Titan Able. I'm making an Atlas with separate tanks instead of drop engine Atlas, drop booster Atlas. Which I think I once did, but with 4 boosters. LR-105. Somewhere that... There we are.
That is true. I rarely see you use liquid boosters.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, that is not a thing that US rockets traditionally have done. This is the one that I want. So I definitely want to use that model. Pretty sure that I don't have access to the model of those. No, I don't. Seven minutes. That's a little bit long. So this is gonna, if this is actually 8 feet, then it's gonna be a little squat. It's definitely gonna be a little squat. Because I think the burn time on this is 5:30. Yeah, 5:30.
Unfortunately, I'm feeling pretty sleepy, but I was curious to see what you come up with. I'm sure I'll see it next time.
Yeah, it's gonna be done real shortly, but I totally understand feeling sleepy. It is pretty late.
Okay.
I will catch
Good
you next
night.
time.
Have a good one.
Cheers. Let's hope we're less cursed than the historic Atlas Able. Yeah, okay. $1.219. There. ECMF, I mean, in terms of looks, it's who knows. But in terms of historical record, uh, Atlas Able was horrific. Also, CMAF, what do you mean by determining the... Oh, oh, I see. Yes. Yes, I understand what you mean now. Sorry. Never mind. Yeah, I wish I could V-scale that, but I don't have the V-scaling of mounts and noses bit of our tanks yet. I'm not even sure it counts as 3 attempts because some of those just didn't make it off the ground. This is definitely one of those times where I need the um, yeah, because I want it to the angled part to start about here. Yeah, okay, what if we did this instead? Okay, so that's officially too much. I didn't see a longer nose model than that, but maybe there is. There's these, but they're not really that useful. Oh, I guess there's that. But, like, that's problematic. Because these are all noses. Yeah, those aren't. Yep, those are the only models I have on offer. So like technically speaking, I could use that, but it just looks weird. But I guess that's what we're going to go with. It does gimbal, but it gimbals so little that no one notices. Okay, so this needs to be... Okay, first... There's that, and then this, which is... When am I getting basic avionics? Oh, I don't even have it queued. Okay, sure. Early avionics it is. It's the max, 130 tons. Where's brighter white paint? Try that. Okay. And use a cone. 54. Bottom 0.8, I guess. Okay. So yes, that looks ugly, but it'll do. Oh, thank you, Sumav. You're absolutely right. I even added a gotcha that it was supposed to prompt when you hit close without applying, but apparently didn't fire in that case. Okay. So again, those got put in separate stages. All right. So this is sort of stupid, but acceptable. I guess I'll change the paint scheme of this. Oh, I can change this, can't I? Yes, I can. There. And that is why that needs to stay. Okay. So that's that part of it done. Now we just need to add the boosters. And I'm going to be using LR79s instead of 89s for the boosters because I already have them locked in with data. Okay. Well, that looks stupid. Start everybody together and see what we get. Interesting. I did not expect that. Really did not expect to not have a high enough lift-off thrust-weight ratio. I guess it makes sense because Atlas boosters ran for 2 minutes 15, give or take. How do I make the... That's how. Interesting, it's not applying to both of them. Really want to round that last little bit off. There. That's how. Oh, that's... Okay. And these need a little more length. Okay. That will do. Okay. Okay. This is a pretty weird looking thing, but it will work. Oh, I thought there was a... Yeah, I thought there was some ability to set an offset. Why did it lose all settings? Who knows? There it is back. Oh, right. Avionics. Don't need that. Okay. There it is. That's a decent lift-off thrust-weight ratio. We're well clear of our mass limit. Maybe I can do that. And can we make this chunkier? Nope, that needs to stay there. That needs to stay there. That needs to stay there. All right. The answer is no, we can't make it chunkier. Okay. No, Mr. Bond, that would be smart, but it also would look worse if I tried to share tooling. What are our differences in tooling anyway? .8 meters, and that's 11.16 meters. So they actually are close enough that we might be okay. Yeah, that's definitely going to be close enough. Okay, the avionics will be slightly expensive. Why do I have to recall? Oh, I have to retool those because I made this longer. Oh, no, sorry, because, yeah, that's a new diameter. Okay, so I'm gonna sim this. We'll see how it all goes. CMAF, what do you mean? This doesn't have the delta V. And Technicat, yes, it is definitely a gotcha needing the right payload for those contracts. Because yeah, if I short fuel this, then I'll be able to place this whole stack in orbit. Yeah, see if I do this. Then pretty sure that's good enough to get into orbit. Yeah. I could be more optimal by actually shrinking this. But this is fine. And yeah, that's tons of delta V, so we're totally fine. Let's see, is there a category for Atlas? No. Yeah, that's not going to be pretty. Okay, so I need a generic. Okay. 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 And then there's the Atlas clamps. Dang, there's no way to. There's no way to. I guess I can just rotate it. Can I make this any smaller? Yes, I can. Oh, that's what I thought I was adding. It was not. I added the side clamps instead. And this is set to 2 meter long. Let's try 2 meter short. Clips. Shoot. Okay, well, I guess this is going to get rotated a bunch. Okay, where did the umbilical mount on this? Let's see. Weird. Does it not have nodes? It must have some nodes. Yes, it has these nodes. Okay. Okay. Where's the service tower top? Ah, that's what. That's how it works. Nope, that's way too extended. Okay, there's one for the payload. There's one for that. And there's that. And then one more here. And then finally, let's put some kind of top piece on it. That will do. Okay. Seems good. Seems good. Let's fix the fairings. Sim it. Now, time to do some estimation. Hot staging is on. Estimate looks fine. Let's go. I'm offended by how ugly this looks. I mean, it could be worse, but still. Definitely offended. Huh, overloft by about 6 degrees. Oh, I lost a bunch of mech chip settings. That was weird. Wonder why. Q trigger, I need to leave Q trigger. I usually leave it at 20, not 10. That was smooth. Man, not a lot of reserve. I expected more. Yep, definitely expected more of a budget. Oh, fairings are in the wrong stage. Yeah, strange that it didn't have more. That's not bad. Yeah, definitely a little more than I expected, but that's fine. Happy enough. Let's rotate the nose. Why can't I rotate? What's going on here? Variant. Yep, it's just straight up gone. Anyway, fix the staging. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks everybody for watching. I will catch you next time. Night.